สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I'm making a dish with a really fun name. It's called Choo Chee. And Choo Chee is basically a dish that involves any kind of seafood with a red curry sauce poured on top. It is incredibly easy, but it also looks really good, so it's a great dinner party dish. Today I'm making mine with mackerel, which is my favorite fish, but you can use any other kind of fish or any other kind of seafood, shrimp, squid, whatever you want. Let's get started. So I've got a wok here, but you can do this in any small saute pan or a little pot because we're only making a little bit of sauce. To this, I'm going to add some coconut milk. So this process is going to look exactly like standard curry making process. So once it's come to a boil, I'm going to add some red curry paste. Now this is one that I made myself, but you can definitely use a store-bought one. The only thing I will say is this is a very concentrated sauce. So when I make it myself, I put less salt and less shrimp paste in it so that it doesn't get too salty. So you have to be careful when you use a store-bought paste. Definitely taste it before you add any fish sauce to it. And let it reduce until thick. What I'm looking for here is not only for the curry paste to be thick, but also for the coconut oil to start separating from the paste. So as you can see, there's lots of oil that's bubbling around the edges of the curry paste. That's what you're looking for. However, I will say that if it doesn't happen for you and you've cooked it for a while, don't worry about it, especially if you're using canned coconut milk. It tends to not happen with canned coconut milk. So now I'm gonna go in with some sugar, some palm sugar to balance out the saltiness, and the rest of my coconut milk. Break up all the lumps. And you can kind of tell that this is homemade curry paste because it's not as fine as a commercial paste, but that's okay. It's a little rustic. Some fish sauce. I'm gonna bring this to a boil and I'm gonna reduce this now until it's a thick sauce consistency. And meanwhile, I'm gonna chop up my kaffir lime leaves. So kaffir lime leaves is the herb for Choo Chee. It's not Choo Chee without kaffir lime leaves. Pull off the rib, the center rib, just like that. Wow, this is a massive one. So grab the base of the stem and just pull it off. And it should come off pretty easily. And that's just tough. Finely julienne it. As fine as you can because this is a pretty tough leaf. And if you don't chop it really finely, you will feel it in your mouth and it's not very comfortable. All right, the sauce is looking good, but I'm going to reduce it a little bit more. It's still a little too runny. I'm going to add my kaffir lime leaves right now, but I'm not adding everything. I'm saving some for final garnish. And kaffir lime leaves just has such a great citrusy smell. It just smells like Thailand to me. And it really just brightens everything up because this is quite a rich sauce, so that sharp citrusy aroma really works well to balance it. That looks good to me. I'm going to turn this off. See how this is sort of the consistency that you want it to be. Rich, thick, and not like a soupy curry like our curries usually are. Now you want this sauce to be strong. Almost too strong to be had on its own because that's the idea. It's going to go on fish and then it's also going to be had with rice. So if this sort of tastes perfect to you, a little extra splash of soy sauce will actually make it perfect when you mix it with rice and fish. All right, I'm going to set this aside and let's work on the fish. I'm using mackerel fillet today, and in Thailand, mackerel is actually really popular with Choo Chee, except our mackerel is not this kind. It's a short mackerel. It's about this big. It's called platu, but you can use other kinds of fish. Shrimp and squid also work really well, but I love sort of the meatiness and savoriness of the mackerel. So I'm going to pan fry these. So I'm going to heat my sauce back up because it has gone cold. Take this fish and drop it into the sauce, and that'll allow some of the flavor from the curry to penetrate into the fish. And I'm not actually going to cover the fish with the sauce because I do want the skin to show when I plate it. I just want the fish to bathe in the sauce for a little bit to marry the flavors together, and that's it. That is done. I'm going to plate that now. Nice. All right. Gonna spoon the sauce sort of around the fish. With the last little bit of sauce, just go ahead and pour it across the fish's body. Just a little bit. Let me just wipe that off because it's been driving me crazy. Very good. Now there's a very standard set of garnish for this dish, and that is some sort of a red pepper. And now normally I'd use spur chilies. I didn't have any fresh one at the time, so I'm just gonna do some bell pepper. Thin julienne. So sort of slice off the inside layer that's clear, like that. And then you go and make very small julienne. Putting this together, so a little extra coconut milk to sort of create some color contrast. This is of course optional if you want to make it pretty. Some of the extra julienne kaffir lime leaves that we made earlier. Finely julienned bell pepper. And that is Choo Chee. Can't wait, let's taste it. Now normally you would have this with rice, but I forgot to make rice, so I'm just gonna have it straight up. Ooh. Now careful with mackerel. If you're using mackerel, there's a lot of bones, a lot of little bones. Get some sauce on there. I love mackerel. That flavor, that intense meaty texture and the strong flavor, it really holds up well to a really flavorful sauce like this one. And if you love Penang curry, you can probably tell now that this is really similar to a Penang curry, but the paste is different. This doesn't have the cumin and the coriander or the peanuts that Penang does, so it is quite a different animal. And you saw how easy that was, so few ingredients, so I do hope you give this a try. Recipe as always is on hotthaikitchen.com, and send me a photo because it's so pretty on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal. Today I'm making a really dish fun name. I lost it.